That's what you're fighting for here. It's like, well, I just want to go clubbing with my shirt off. I don't have to show a fucking passport just to get in. You need vaccine passports to travel before COVID. You couldn't go to parts of like South and Central America without getting certain vaccines. You couldn't go to countries in Africa without getting certain vaccines. Like, do you think the yellow fever is a joke? You know? Do you think malaria is just for the lulz? Do you think it's all a vibe? Like what the f*** is wrong with all these people? No, I don't want to lose belly fat. And I'd rather watch Obese to Beast than whatever you are.
We're aware it is a crime to lie to Congress. Section 1001 of the U.S. Criminal Code creates a felony and a 5-year penalty for lying to Congress. On your last trip to our committee on May 11th, you stated that the NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain-of-function research in the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And yet, gain-of-function research was done entirely in the Wuhan Institute by Dr. Shi and was funded by the NIH. I'd like to ask unanimous consent to insert into the record the Wuhan virology paper entitled Discovery of a Rich Gene Pool of Bat SARS-Related Coronaviruses. Please deliver a copy of the journal article to Dr. Fauci. In this paper, Dr. Shi credits the NIH and lists the actual number of the grant that she was given by the NIH. In this paper, she took 2 bat coronavirus genes, spike genes, and combined them with a SARS-related backbone to create new viruses that are not found in nature. These lab-created viruses were then shown to replicate in humans. These experiments combine genetic information from different coronaviruses that infect animals, but not humans.
But Rand Paul doesn't need my vote because he doesn't want to be treaded upon. So I by not voting on him, I'm not treading upon his electorate. So there you go.
To create novel artificial viruses able to infect human cells. Viruses that in nature only infect animals were manipulated in the Wuhan lab to gain the function of infecting humans. This research fits the definition of the research that the NIH said was subject to the pause in 2014 to 2017, a pause in funding on gain of function. But the NIH failed to recognize this, defines it away, and it never came under any scrutiny. Dr. Richard E. Bright, a molecular biologist from Rutgers, described this research in Wuhan as the Wuhan lab used NIH funding to construct novel chimeric SARS-related coronaviruses able to infect human cells and laboratory animals. This is high-risk research that creates new potential pandemic pathogens that exist only in the lab, not in nature.
You know what's sad is they're way more concerned with promoting this whole lab leak theory than they ever will be about getting vaccination rates up. Like the United States has peaked, not their infection rates or death rates. Those are going to continue to climb, but their vaccination rates, they're starting to plateau because half the country has been convinced that the whole thing is a sham. And then you've got people like Tim Pool. Tim Pool is promoting full-on vaccination conspiracy theories now, which is great. So is Jimmy Dore. Let me pull up those.
This research matches, these are Dr. Ebright's words, this research matches, indeed epitomizes, the definition of gain-of-function research done entirely in Wuhan, for which there was supposed to be a federal pause. Dr. Fauci, knowing that it is a crime to lie to Congress, do you wish to retract your statement of May 11th where you claimed that the NIH never funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan?
Let's take a quick look at the Jador character.
Going forward. How are they going to sell this going forward? Because the way they sold it last time was, get the vaccine, you don't have to wear their mask. You go back to your life. Well, now they're telling you, that turns out that's not true. You got to start wearing masks again. And you got to get more shots. I don't know how they're going to sell this.
Oh shit, $27 too. Everyone go check out $27 channel. He's quite based.
But good luck to them selling it. So, and by the way, the reason why I'm sharing, it takes courage. But my doctor, who's treating 5 people just like me, I was told by my doctor, I'm treating 5 people just like you. And one of them's a neurologist and one of them's a nurse, and they're afraid to talk about their symptoms from the vaccine because they're afraid to be ostracized. So that's bad. That's not good if people are afraid to talk about their reactions they've had to this experimental vaccine, because how are we going to make the vaccine safer if the scientists don't know what the reactions to it are? So
the scientists know. They're quite transparent about it, as is anyone who's had the vaccine. The reactions can range. Some people just have a little sore arm. I just had a sore arm from both. Some people get a little bit ill. Those are, no one is preventing anyone from talking about this. Everyone is free. People tweet about it all the time. But what's really dangerous is amplifying these stories as if it's something to be deeply concerned about versus COVID. Because COVID's pretty bad. COVID's pretty damn bad. It's not exactly like you get COVID and it's like, well, I kind of got a sore arm. Kind of got a sore arm when I got COVID, you know? Kind of got a weak cough, but then everything was all peachy keen. You know, a lot of people are like, well, I actually have permanent brain damage from that whole ordeal. Yeah, I was hospitalized for a couple months. I no longer have the same lung capacity that I once did.
that's bad. That's the political climate, and that's politics. That's the political climate in the country right now, where medical professionals are afraid to talk about their symptoms from an experimental vaccine because they're afraid of the political fallout from it. That is nuts.
What happened to my friend Bad Empanada? I have never once endorsed Bad Empanada's Twitter activity. In fact, I have always been very, very clear in that his Twitter activity is bonkers. And I have no way of explaining why someone goes so wild on Twitter when they're very, very clear, concise, and in my opinion, good on YouTube. His YouTube channels and his coverage of, South and Central America, on point. He does amazing deep dives. He should be nowhere near a Twitter app. Okay? It is bad for his health and others. So that's all I can really say about that.
That is Trump derangement syndrome affecting everything now.
I think he's trolling. Yeah, cool. Great. If you want to use your Twitter account for useful things, because he was doing some really good coverage on Peru when no one else was, and everyone was like, well, I need to retweet the story, including myself, because this is one of the only accounts that has posted something that is really, really important on this. But I can't retweet Bad Empanada. Like, what the fuck? I had to explain to him. I was like, you should create a separate account, something like South American Super News. I don't know, call whatever you want, but just create that and then just stick uniquely to reporting and covering events that are happening that other leftists don't seem to pay attention to. That would be fine. Go forth and do that. But instead, it's just like all these strange, unhinged rants. Some of them are like anti-Semitic, I want to say. I don't fully understand the "do you have foreskin" thing, or like some of the other ones. Like it's a disaster.
That's not how science is supposed to work. You're not supposed to keep your reactions secret to an experimental vaccine. That doesn't help us make a safer vaccine. And I got the jab. I got the vaccine. So people are I know there's going to be some people calling me an anti-vaxxer. No. I'm here. The idea that you're supposed to keep your reactions and your symptoms and
butternut squash, thank you,
to yourself.
I was sick for 4 days.
That is garbage. And the more people who speak up, the better.
I have nothing wrong with his Fredophobia. I'm not gonna call that out. But here's the thing with Jimmy Dore and doing this, okay? Because we've seen different versions of this. You've got Ben Stein, for example, going on Alex Jones's show, where he's like, I got the vaccine, and I felt like I almost died. So I just want other people to know how bad it truly is. Like, the problem with amplifying the worst stories is that, again, those stories are in the minority. Okay, there are people who die from the vaccines. There are. I mean, that is something that is very transparent. People can get blood clots from AstraZeneca, specifically women. That does happen. It has happened. If you look at the cost-weight analysis of this, the cost-benefit analysis of this, it's incredibly striking versus your risks that come from taking these vaccines versus the benefits. The benefits overwhelmingly outweigh the risks. And you may get sick for 2 days, you may get sick for 3 days, sure. If you get COVID, you might die, or you might have permanent brain damage, or you might have a stroke, or you might have any number of complications. You know, you could be fine. Some people are just asymptomatic carriers. But the whole purpose of this is that asymptomatic carriers no longer can get other people sick. And I don't understand this idea now. There's all these people being like, well, yeah, but the vaccine passport is basically apartheid. All right, I cannot live in a society that imposes this upon us. You are trying to impose upon other people your ability to get them sick and possibly die. That's what you're fighting for here. It's like, well, I just want to go clubbing with my shirt off and I don't have to show a fucking passport just to get in. You need vaccine passports to travel before COVID. You couldn't go to parts of like South and Central America without getting certain vaccines. You couldn't go to countries in Africa without getting certain vaccines. Like, do you think the yellow fever is a joke? You know? Do you think malaria is just for the lulz? Do you think it's all a vibe? Like what the fuck is wrong with all these people?
The more data we have, the better, and then we can make better medicine. Okay. So there you go.
Surprise.
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress.
Microphone.
Your microphone.
Senator Paul, I have.
Hey, he did a lance. Dr. Fauci did a lance there. Hey, I'm not the only one, okay? One of the most prominent doctors in the world right now does it too. 'Tis not just me, okay? Other people do it as well. And the most important part is just understanding why exactly it is that he did it. I mean, that's the only way. And that's how we save the universe and the planet. Exactly what I just said 2 seconds ago. That'll fix all of the world's problems.
I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement. This paper that you are referring to was judged by qualified staff up and down the chain as not being gain of function. Let me finish.
You take an animal virus and you increase its transmissibility to humans,
right.
You're saying that's not gain of function?
Yeah.
Oh, I love when people who don't know anything about science try to argue with scientists about this kind of stuff. And don't get me wrong, I don't know fuck all right? I'm not gonna get up on a panel and be like, do you understand what gain of function is? Do you? Because I don't. I don't have any fucking idea what it means. But I know what Wikipedia told me and some gray zone articles. And this whole thing sounds really scary. Okay? Zero Hedge had a headline. China bad. I saw that China bad. It's in giant bold letters. Just China bad. So you understand my concern here, doctor. That is in fact your real title.
That is correct. And Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, quite frankly. And I want to say that officially. You do not know what you are talking about. You get one person.
Let's read from the NIH definition of gain of function. This is your definition that you guys wrote. It says that scientific research that increases the transmissibility among mammals is gain of function. They took animal virus.
Did he say manimals? I don't know if he did. I might just be reading to it. I really hope he said manimals.
Among mammals.
Oh my God, he said manimals. Oh my God. Oh, that's lore now. Manimals. Fuck. I'm so happy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Senator Paul.
It's scientific research that increases the transmissibility among mammals.
Transmissibility among mammals. Yes. Yes. You have no idea what you're talking about, Dr. Fauci. All right? Why don't you talk about the transmissibility among mammals? I've heard no discussion of the mammals. What? Are you hiding the mammals? What's going on here? A lot of things to answer for.
Is gain of function.
They took animal viruses that only occur in animals, and they increased their transmissibility to humans. How you can say that is not gain of function?
It is not.
It's a dance, and you're dancing around this because you're trying to obscure responsibility for 4 million people dying around the world from a pandemic.
And let's send Dr. Fauci.
I have to, well, now you're getting into something. If the point that you are making is that the grant that was funded as a sub-award from EcoHealth to Wuhan created SARS-CoV-2. That's where you are getting.
Don't know.
Well, wait a
if
minute.
it did come from the lab, but all the evidence is pointing that it came from the lab, and there will be responsibility for those who funded the lab, including yourself.
He's really ramped it up, eh? He's gone from saying, like, you know, why won't you answer about the manimals, to saying, like, all the evidence is pointing towards this being a lab-created disease, where it's quite the opposite. It's like most of the evidence, almost all of the evidence, I would say, has pointed towards this not being synthetic in origin, being biological in origin. I mean, at best, you might be able to say that they were studying it and then it escaped, not that they bioengineered this for the release. And again, can we do the whole ... Like, what's the plot here? What was China's scheme? So China's like, I'm going to destabilize the global economy by creating a virus in a lab, releasing the virus on my own populace, killing tens of thousands of my own citizens because, of course, evil. And then we're going to release that into the world, at which point it's going to slow down the global economy. It's going to damage the purchasing power of most other world superpowers and their ability to buy all our cheap consumer goods. Because reasons. And then we're going to destabilize the global networks through this process, of course, because it's, again, part of our nefarious scheme. Because this is infinitely going to make us better positioned, of course, to take over the world, as is the plot.
This committee will allow the witness to respond.
I totally resent the lie that you are now propagating, Senator, because if you look at the viruses that were used in the experiments, that were given in the annual reports, that were published in the literature, it is molecularly impossible.
No one's saying those viruses caused it. No one is alleging that those viruses caused the pandemic. What we're alleging is that gain-of-function research was going on in that lab, and NIH funded it.
That is
not.
Can't
get away from it. It meets your definition, and you are obfuscating the truth.
I'm not obfuscating the truth.
Senator
You are the
Paul's
one.
time is expired, but I will allow the witness to.
Let me just finish. I want everyone to understand that if you look at those viruses, and that's judged by qualified virologists and evolutionary biologists, those viruses are molecularly impossible to result in SARS-CoV-2.
Viruses caused the pandemic.
Senator Paul,
we're saying they are gain-of-function viruses because they were animal viruses that became more transmissible in human, and you funded it.
And you
admit the truth.
And you implying...
Senator Paul, your time has expired, and I will allow witnesses who come before this committee to respond.
And you are implying that what we did was responsible for the deaths of individuals. I totally resent that. And if anybody is lying here, Senator, it is you.
Senator Smith.
Thank you, Dr. Fauci. And thanks to all of our panelists for being here today. And thank you, Chairman and Ranking Member Burr. I just want to say, Dr. Fauci, is there anything more that you would like to say to counteract these attacks on your integrity that we've all just witnessed?
You could have such a mic drop moment right now. I know he's not going to, but he could. I mean, he could just jump out of his stand and punch Rand Paul right in the face. You know? I mean, Rand Paul wouldn't do anything about it because, again, that's just his world belief that you can do that. Rand Paul, he did it to his neighbor. So right there, you know, he could do it and be like, you were treading upon me.
Well, Senator, thank you. I don't think I have anything further to say. This is a pattern that Senator Paul has been doing now at multiple hearings based on no reality. He keeps talking about gain of function. This has been evaluated multiple times by qualified people to not fall under the gain of function definition. I have not lied before Congress. I have never lied, certainly not before Congress. Case closed.
Nicely done. Nicely done. I'm not a fan of Dr. Fauci, or basically, the liberals who are now touting him as Jesus too. But that was very nice to see. That was very, very nice to see. It was wonderful. It was a kind of a mic drop, not the same as if he had actually drop kicked him, but still, it was as close as I think we're gonna get to what we truly want.
Do you want movies and Serfs watching the movies? So then come over to the new channels. It's the Serfs Cinema. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Can you do the thing, that thumbs up and comment and all those things that help us out in the algorithm that controls every aspect of our lives? Also, if you happen to have a Facebook account, can you delete it? Like just delete it. You should probably delete your Facebook account because it's not a great company. But hey, if you can't do that for whatever reason, I understand. And could you also go to facebook.com/thesurftimes then and give us a little like and a follow. We're just trying to push back against the fact that people like Ben Shapiro happen to dominate the platform entirely. And when everyone asks why do older generations believe the things they believe, one of the problems is the majority of them on social media use Facebook. So to counter that, we're just going to be on there too now. Also, if you happen to have a union or a worker co-op or even a leftist project podcast, website, Zoom, MySpace, it doesn't matter. We will advertise it for free on this channel. All you got to do is go to weareserfs.com and use the forms that we got there, weareserfs.com. Thanks, everybody.
To our wonderful gods, Xander Corvus, VK Jehannam, T. Grow, and Peyton L. Just, may you smite all of our enemies. To our monarchs, Tom Spiker and the Tim Caucus, we are your humble servants, ready to do all your bidding. To our lords, Evan Nudie, Trevor R., Alexander Thaler, Ryan Lubin, and Jeff Lamb, we shall proudly carry your banner on the online battlefield. To our Knights of the Round Table, Val 9000, Jenna Tal, Dark Puppy, Quiet 185, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevor Janis, Lemmy 101, Anthropophojack, Saren 42, Chronic the Hemphog, Phone Jenny, Radical Maniac, Ramon Acosta, Jibby Big Nuts, Violent Orchard, Sophie Baby, Political Puppy, Andreas Chiringuito, Zach Christensen, Yopi, Josh Mickelson, Todd Buckingham, and Todd Lajeunesse. We raise our glass and we raise our swords and we salute you.